Hello everyone, welcome to MBA Karo. Tomorrow you'll be going to write MICAT 2, and in this video I'm going to explain that how to ace this examination, what should be the right strategy that one should follow in order to do well on this examination, because there is too much to do. Okay, so a step-by-step way that in which section what you should do, what should not be done to maximize your score and maximize your chances to get admission into MICA. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media platforms. Now, the ones who have appeared on MyCat, they know the difficulty level of the examination. The ones who are going to write for the very first time, so let me tell you that it is the most difficult examination by far. Okay, the level of questions you will find are that ZAT, CAT level, and the time given is very less. So in the aptitude section, you have 70 questions to be done in 80 minutes, and the level are those you find in ZAT. Now, this is the exam structure. So, if you have written it before, you might be knowing it. Even if you have not written, you must have gone through it. That there are three sections in this test. One is psychometric test, one is descriptive test, and another is aptitude test. Okay, so you need to qualify this. This is a qualifying test in nature. Descriptive test, the marks are not disclosed, it is evaluated later. Okay, and this is the aptitude test in which you need to clear the cutoff in all sections as well as the overall cutoff. So watch this video to understand how can you maximize your chances and crack each of the sections. So first come psychometric test. It has some situation based questions. So 30 minutes, 150 questions. There will be questions with ordinal options like totally agree, strongly agree, agree, somewhat disagree, and so on till totally disagree. Okay, so there will be like 117, around 117 questions, and there are binary options, true or false. They will give you a statement, and you have to tell that whether you agree to it or not agree to it. Okay, now the thing is there is nothing right or wrong in that. Say, let's say you might be a team worker or you might be an individual player. Now the thing is your answers need to be consistent. Okay, so watch this video. I created a video how to pass the psychometric test in MyCat. Please watch it to understand how to clear the test. Okay, so just be honest and do not have similar answers. Let us say one of the question asks that are you a team player? Okay, and you answer strongly disagree. And another question asks, are you an individual player? And you also say strongly disagree. So that is a mismatch. So as much consistency as you have, you will clear the test. Try to answer all the questions. You have enough time to attempt the section. Like 150 questions can be easily done in 30 minutes. Then comes the descriptive test. Now people are worried that what happens in this test, how can you type so much? Because each of the questions has 300 words. Now it is not possible to type 1200 words in just 25 minutes. So I'll tell you how to do this. So these are the questions which were asked in MyCat 1. So there will be a statement given and you have to write 3 points for, 3 points against, and there will be a question based on that particular statement. Like this time they had given a question on social media. Okay, so there will be 3 points for, against, and this. So they say max 300 words. So obviously you do not have to write 300 words. Then there is a picture perception test which has 4 images. Now students think that is it choice based? Should we answer any of the questions? No, you have to answer all the questions. Now do it well, right? Like if you talk about this picture perception, write a story, okay, combining all the images. So try to write at least 200 plus words in the story, right? And in these three remaining three questions, I would say that try to write at least 100 plus words. Even if you are not able to write complete paragraph, okay, you can just write points. You can just write the points in sentences, not necessary that you write a very long paragraph. So 100 plus 100 plus and maybe around 200 words for this question. So all in all you have to type around 600 to 700 words. Even if you do this and you divide by 25, which comes up to around 24 to 28 words per minute. Okay, so even if you write like, even if you do it 150 and make it around 500 to 600 words at least, that should be sufficient. But ensure that you answer all the questions. It should not be the case that you just write the story, you do not answer the questions, or you write these three questions and do not answer the story. So do the story and write 3 points for, 3 points against, right? Even if you do not write in much detail, that is perfectly fine. So try to answer as much as possible, right? The questions should be answered even though the number of words per question is less. So that is the key to scoring well on this section. The scores are not disclosed, they are like once they consider you for interview, then they will evaluate that. Now the next is aptitude test, right? Now that is a big challenge. I told you 70 questions to be done in 80 minutes. How to attempt this and time distribution I'll tell you. So general awareness has 10 questions. It will have match the following mostly. There will be some 5 6 questions based on match the following, and there will be brand based questions, etc., etc. So I would say that attempt these 10 questions in 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, I would say that this much is enough to attempt the section. Do not attempt unnecessarily, right? Even if you attempt 3 questions, that is perfectly fine, but ensure that your accuracy is high, because there is negative marking also, and each subsection has uh, a sectional cutoff which is not disclosed, right? But you should try not to get a negative score in any of the sections. So 5 to 6 minutes. Now you have around 75 minutes for these three sections. Okay, now go for 20 20 20 strategy. So 5 to 6 minutes for this 20 20 20. So you are done with 65 minutes. Then last 15 minutes should be a maximizer. Okay, you can go for 20 20 15 also, depending that if you do not want to spend much time on one section. Now what to do in which section, which will fetch you marks, right? General awareness we talked, it is either you know or you do not know, right? There is no third thing that you will think and some thought will come to your mind, you will understand the author or something like that. You do not have to do any calculation, so it is pretty much doable. Then now talking about the verbal ability, it will have two RCs. Okay, it will have para jumble, it will have odd one out, it will have para summary, the all the kind of questions, para summary, although it will have fill in the blanks also, and that sentence filler. So all these sort of questions would be there. If you wish to read an RC, you can attempt an RC with 4 questions. There are 2 RCs, and the RC questions usually have 8 options, so it is quite challenging to a RC. So you may pick some questions out of these non-RC questions. So 8 RC questions and 12 VA questions. Okay, you may you may pick one RC plus some VA questions. Maybe you take 8 to 10 minutes to attempt an RC, and maybe 10 12 minutes to answer 4 5 VA questions. So it depends, right? If your strength is VA, you should definitely attempt some questions on VA. QA and DI, there will be 4 questions on DI and 16 quant. Okay. Now in this case, all questions are going to be lengthy. Most of the questions are going to be very lengthy, very difficult. So choose as per your strength or familiarity of topic. Okay. Let's say there's a question on geometry and you know how to solve it. Okay, you can solve that question. Let's say there is a question on algebra which you find that it is pretty lengthy, you cannot solve it. Don't solve it. Okay, so whatever is familiar to you, attempt those questions. Maybe even if you attempt 3 4 questions, it is fine. If you're great in quant, you may go ahead and attempt 6 7 questions, but trust me, you will not be able to attempt more than 10 questions, right? Even the best, I would recommend, अगर बैलेंस पेपर दे रहे हो, हाँ खाली क्वांट करो तो maybe you can attempt all 20 questions in the entire time. But again, 20 on 20 is also not possible. They are very difficult questions. So try to attempt pick some of the questions, right, based on your familiarity. Let's say arithmetic based question and you're comfortable doing it, do it. Take time, attempt some questions, give 20 minutes. Maybe you can do 3 questions, but 3 questions would suffice. Now divergent and convergent thinking is the section where you can score high. So I would say कि जो last 15 minute है इसमें भी divergent and convergent thinking में try to maximize the score. Now what need to attempt in this is, there are some series based questions, number series. Okay, there will be some coding decoding questions. Okay, there is word association. If you can hit that, I did some I did a session on this. Okay, so if you are able to hit these things, do it. Series, coding, decoding, there will be plenty of questions. There will be some questions on visual reasoning as well. So target these questions. If you are able to target, like, there will be at least 5 to 6 questions on series and coding, decoding. And my guess is, if you are comfortable with that, maybe you might be able to attempt 3 4 questions, and that would take less time. Also, at the same time, if the logic does not strike immediately, avoid these questions. There will be some questions like blood relations, directions. Okay, it could be some arrangement. Avoid those questions unless they are short. Arrangement questions, you will get a single question for a very large arrangement. So try to avoid that. Try to attempt maximum questions and do not miss these questions. Last time in MICAT 1, these series coding decoding were very simple. Even if they are difficult, some of them would be doable. So try tackling these questions. Word association, it is like, if it hits, good. If not, just avoid it. Visual reasoning, again, if you are able to identify the logic, go ahead and attempt them. So these are some of the questions, picking questions from these sections. So this is how you are going to attempt this section, like 20 20 20, 15 minutes to maximize. So if you feel that you can increase your score in verbal ability, go ahead. If you feel quant is your forte, maybe you can attempt 2 3 more questions, go ahead and do it. If you feel reasoning, you want to attempt some arrangement based question or something else which would probably take time, but you have confidence that you will get it right. So in that case, go ahead and attempt it. So that depends on person to person which section you are good at. So this is the balanced approach to tackle this section and maximize your score. Now, do not worry about the cutoffs, right? It will depend on how people relatively perform, right? Even if you are able to touch double digits, I think last year around 6 7 also people got the calls. So if your CAT percentile is 95 plus, maybe at 10 also you might be able to get a call. But if your percentile is like around 80s, so maybe you might need 15 plus score, and that is achievable if you attempt the paper strategically. So I wish you all the best for MyCat 2. Tomorrow I'll be doing the analysis of the examination. I myself will write on the exam. The examination ends at 11:15. Ensure that you reach the center on time. 8:30 is the closing time. Before that, try to reach it. Okay, and at 11:30, I'll do the exam analysis. That how was it compared to MyCat 1, and what could be the expected cutoffs. And at 3 p.m. probably we will discuss some questions related to the exam, some memory based questions from it. Okay, so this was how to tackle MyCat, and if you attempt the paper strategically, I don't think that it is much of a problem. You do not have to attempt a lot of it. You have to attempt selectively and in a smart way to maximize your score. So if you are prepared well for exams, definitely you will be able to pick some topics, some particular questions, and do them well on the examination.